Today we will be looking at the Renaissance, the period of time following the Middle Ages where we will see a rebirth in many aspects of culture. Here is a little bit of background knowledge about the beginning of the Renaissance. The word Renaissance is French for rebirth, and it spanned or lasted from 1350 to 1600 AD or CE. The Renaissance began in the city of Florence, which is located in Italy. It began there because it was the most urban city at that time. Italy was also one of the wealthiest countries due to trade. So, what exactly is the Renaissance? The Renaissance is a cultural revival. We have just come out of the period known as the Dark Ages. It is also a revival of learning based on knowledge from ancient Greece and Rome. It's during this period of time that we will see changes in governments, literature, and art. Let's take a minute to talk about how art will change. In the Renaissance, artists developed a more human-like approach to their paintings and sculptures. For example, the picture that just showed up on your screen is an example of what art looked like during the Middle Ages or the Dark Ages. Notice how unrealistic this painting is. On the right-hand side, you will see art that came from the Renaissance. It's the same subject, but it is more human-like. Here are some more examples of how art changed during the Renaissance. Notice that the sculpture looks almost exactly like a regular human. The Mona Lisa was also painted during this time by Leonardo da Vinci. You also have Leonardo da Vinci's Last Supper, as well as the Sistine Chapel painted by Michelangelo. Not all changes were just in art. The Renaissance also saw political changes in governments. Niccolo Machiavelli wrote his famous novel The Prince during this time. This novel led to development of ideas to help rulers become more fair and expand their power. It also led to the development of different countries instead of kingdoms. Along with art and political changes, there will also be changes in literature. During the Renaissance, poets and writers like William Shakespeare would use their work to gain fame by creating popular plays like Romeo and Juliet, as well as Hamlet. It is also during this time that a German man named Johann Gutenberg developed the first printing press. Before the Renaissance, if you wanted a copy of any document or book made, you would have to travel to a monastery and have a monk handwrite it for you. This could take a significant amount of time to do. With the printing press, you can make many copies in just minutes. The first book printed on the printing press was actually the Bible. So now exactly why is this all important? The Renaissance left a lot of things behind that still affect us today. Printing made it easier to make many copies of a book. Because of the printing press, it will later develop into typewriters and then the printer that we have today that hooks up to your computer. Written works also become available in English, French, Spanish, Italian, or German. This is known as vernacular or the spoken language. Previously, most books were only written in Latin. Also, at this time, more people began to read, and the most popular book at the time was the Bible. Because more people could get copies of books, they became more educated and read more often. So after reading the Bible, people formed new ideas about Christianity. And these ideas were different from the official church teachings and will later develop into the Protestant Reformation and change the course of history forever dealing with the Catholic Church.